a high school crush, simple, innocent, and familiar. But sometimes that crush doesn't fade. It grows, twists, and becomes something dark. Obsession can hide behind a smile, masquerading as love. It's a force that cares nothing for the other's happiness, only for possession. The obsessed build fantasies, ignoring reality until the truth shatters their illusion. This story is a chilling reminder. The line between love and obsession is razor thin. In the shadows, obsession waits, growing stronger, unseen. The journey from crush to catastrophe is slow, almost invisible. It starts with a thought, then fixation, nurtured in secret. The object of obsession may never know they're being watched. Life moves on for them. Graduation, love, family. But in the shadows, the obsession lingers. It watches, year after year, waiting for a moment to strike. What begins as a simple crush can end in unimaginable darkness. This is the story of how love's shadow can become a nightmare, and how no one ever sees it coming until it's too late. Late 1990s, a typical American high school. Amy was bright, kind, and well-liked, just another teenager with dreams. Brian, quiet and shy, noticed Amy from afar. He never spoke to her, never revealed his feelings. For Amy, Brian was just another face in the crowd. She was busy with friends, her boyfriend, and plans for the future. After graduation, their lives diverged. Amy went to college, fell in love, married, and built a happy family. Brian moved on too, at least on the surface. But his crush on Amy never faded. It became a permanent fixture in his mind. He carried it from adolescence into adulthood, a secret he never shared. Amy had no idea she was the center of someone's private world. Their paths never crossed again, but Brian's feelings only deepened. The lack of connection was crucial. She was living her life, unaware. Brian's obsession grew in silence, unnoticed by everyone. What seemed like a harmless crush was quietly becoming something far more dangerous. The seeds of tragedy were sown in those silent hallways, and no one, not even Amy, could see what was coming. Sometimes the most ordinary moments hide the darkest beginnings. Years passed. Amy's world was her family, her past, a distant memory. But for Brian, the past was alive. His obsession with Amy only deepened. He filled journals with fantasies, imagined conversations, and memories. In his mind, Amy was still the center of everything. Outwardly, Brian seemed normal, quiet, polite, unremarkable. No one suspected the storm brewing beneath the surface. His fixation was invisible, hidden from friends and family. Obsession thrives in secrecy, growing stronger in the dark. While Amy celebrated life's milestones, Brian clung to the past. He sometimes drove by her old house, reliving memories. He was stuck in a teenage moment, unable to move on. The world saw an ordinary man. Inside, he was consumed by fantasy. Over a decade, his obsession became his reality. Amy's life moved forward, but Brian's never did. The stage was set for tragedy, one that no one could have predicted. Obsession, left unchecked, can become a prison. And Brian was its most devoted inmate. Stalking often hides in plain sight, quiet, methodical, and unnoticed. Brian learned Amy's routines, followed her from a distance. He became a ghost in her life, always watching, never seen. His behavior escalated, driving through her neighborhood, parking near her house, orchestrating accidental meetings. To Amy, he was just another stranger. She never noticed the pattern. No one did. Stalking is terrifying because it's invisible until it's too late. Each act seems harmless alone, but together, they reveal a chilling obsession. Brian's life revolved around Amy's schedule. His own world faded away. These moments of watching fed his fantasy, not seen as stalking, but as connection. He believed in a bond that never existed. The delusion grew deeper, reality slipping further away. The stalker's world is built on illusion, not truth. Amy remained unaware, vulnerable to a danger she couldn't see. Brian's obsession became his purpose, his only reality. The line between fantasy and action was blurring, and the shadows were about to step into the light. Obsession, unchecked, always demands more. After years of silent obsession, a single moment changed everything. Brian saw Amy and her husband Todd sharing a happy, intimate moment. The fantasy shattered. Amy's happiness with Todd was undeniable. For Brian, this was unbearable. The illusion was gone. Pain turned to rage, and rage to blame. He saw Todd as the obstacle. In his mind, removing Todd would restore his fantasy. The happiness he witnessed became a trigger, unleashing years of repressed anger. The break was sudden, but the buildup had been years in the making. Brian began to plan, using everything he'd learned from years of watching. He knew their routines, their home, their vulnerabilities. The obsession demanded action, no longer content to stay in the shadows. The line between thought and violence was crossed. The fantasy had become a weapon. Brian's mind was set on a terrible path. The darkness was ready to strike, and the consequences would be devastating. On a quiet night, Brian put his plan into action. The family was at home, unaware of the danger outside. Brian broke in, shattering their sanctuary. His target was Todd, the man he blamed for his pain. The attack was violent and swift. Amy rushed to help, only to face a nightmare from her past. Brian's eyes held no recognition, only obsession. The fantasy demanded a terrible price. Both Amy and Todd became victims of his rage. In minutes, a loving family was destroyed. The children, left unharmed, lost everything. Brian fled, leaving behind devastation. The community would never be the same. A simple crush had become a deadly poison. News of the murders stunned the quiet town. Amy and Todd were beloved. No one understood why this happened. Police found no motive at first. Fear gripped the community. The investigation led to Brian, a forgotten classmate. His journals revealed the truth, a decade-long obsession. The attack was not random, but the final act of a stalker. Friends and family were shocked. No one saw the signs. Brian had seemed harmless, his obsession hidden. Experts say obsessive stalkers often lead double lives. Their darkness is kept secret, invisible to those around them. The warning signs were buried in private thoughts and secret behaviors. The tragedy was a painful lesson. Danger can come from the most unexpected places. The community mourned, struggling to understand. The illusion of safety was shattered, and the cost of obsession was heartbreakingly clear. Love and obsession can look similar, but they are opposites. Love is about respect, trust, and wanting happiness for the other person. Obsession is about control, possession, and fantasy. The obsessed person doesn't see the other as real, but as an object. When reality doesn't match the fantasy, anger and jealousy take over. Persistence in the face of rejection isn't romantic. It's a warning sign. True love respects boundaries. Obsession ignores them. Brian didn't love Amy. He loved his idea of her. When his fantasy was threatened, he chose destruction over acceptance. Obsession is a cage, not a partnership. The story is a tragic illustration of how dangerous that line can be. When love turns to obsession, the results can be catastrophic. The difference is respect. Without it, love becomes a prison. Obsession leads only to pain and loss. Recognizing the signs can save lives. The line between love and obsession must never be crossed. This story is a stark reminder. Recognize the signs of obsession in others and in yourself. If someone's attention makes you uncomfortable, trust your instincts. Unwanted, persistent contact can be stalking. Tell someone you trust and document everything. Law enforcement and support organizations can help you stay safe. Ignoring the problem only lets it grow. If you can't stop thinking about someone who doesn't reciprocate, seek help. Obsessive thoughts can consume your life, Don't be afraid to talk to a professional. There's no shame in asking for help. It's a sign of strength. With awareness and support, tragedy can be prevented. Love should never become a shadow. Bring obsession into the light before it's too late. A simple crush should never end in heartbreak and loss.